Today's film is Bugonia. It is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone as Michelle, Jesse Plemons as Teddy, and Aidan Delbis in his acting debut as Don. The main premise follows Teddy and Don, two conspiracy-obsessed men who kidnap the CEO of a major pharmaceutical company when they become convinced that she's an alien who wants to destroy the Earth. The fate of the Earth may be in their hands, or is it? Story and writing. The story hinges on you wrestling with whether or not Michelle is an alien. The longer she is held prisoner by Teddy and Don, the longer you have to reflect on what's happening, and whether or not you agree with what's happening. Carrying this film is the dialogue and interactions held between the three main characters, Michelle, Teddy, and Don. The film is presented in a straightforward fashion and is easy to follow, without various subplots pulling us away from the main premise for too long, as we are meant to focus on the lengths that Teddy and Don are willing to go, and whether or not Michelle is an alien set on destroying the Earth. Performances and characters. Let's be honest, public perception against pharmaceutical companies is mixed at best. Mix in a questionable CEO who gets results by unethical means, and you have Michelle. That is Emma Stone's character. She's set on turning the corner in a half-baked attempt at rebranding the company as employee first within a plethora of diversity initiatives, in which Michelle doesn't necessarily believe in herself. She says things like employees can go home at 5 p.m., but only if there's no work to be done, highlighting the fact that there are quotas to meet and encouraging employees to stay late. Her statements only serve as service-level material, while her actions indicate a CEO who's anything but employee first, suggesting that things haven't changed. Enter Teddy, who's a warehouse worker scanning packages in one of the warehouses that is owned by the CEO. He spends his off time fully immersing himself in an echo chamber of alien conspiracies and is 100% convinced that Michelle is an alien. So much so that he enrolls and convinces his neurodivergent cousin Don to embark with him on a mission to kidnap Michelle with the hopes of getting a meeting with their alien superiors to convince them to leave the planet. To Teddy, Michelle's actions are deeply personal, and this fuels him throughout the movie. There's an aspect of Teddy that is also convinced that Michelle and CEOs like her must be alien due to not only the signs, but especially their cruelty to others. But if history has taught us anything, people are definitely capable of harming others without question. Then there is Don, who relies on Teddy as emotional and directional support. Don looks up to Teddy as honorable, trustworthy, and is willing to do what Teddy asks of him, as he believes Teddy has good intentions and is good. Don is a character that is overlooked due to his capabilities, but he nonetheless pours himself into Teddy. So when Teddy asks for his help to kidnap the highly prominent alien in the eyes of his cousin, he ultimately goes along with it. Direction and cinematography. The cinematography in this film is purposeful. Most of the film takes place within Teddy and Don's home, which was interestingly enough designed from the floor up specifically for this film. This home has a dirty, unorganized, and messy aesthetic. This, of course, is contrasted with Michelle and her clean, organized space, in which she is portrayed as in control and having power. The cinematographer, Robbie Ryan, filmed the movie entirely in VistaVision, as most of the film takes place in the basement of Teddy's home, where this widescreen visual style is enhanced by the directorial decisions and intuitive placement of lighting, serving as a great backdrop for Michelle, Teddy, and Don during moments of intense dialogue. Yorgos Lanthimos continues to stick with the general rule that if the characters aren't moving, then the camera isn't going anywhere either. This, of course, causes us to focus in on what is being said and pinpoint our attention to what is transpiring on screen. And whenever the characters are on the move, so is the camera. This film is meant to be discomforting, and you are meant to wrestle with the lengths that Teddy and Don go to get Michelle to admit that she is an alien. Relieving some of this tension is the fact that the movie has subtle comedic timing spliced throughout, allowing us to laugh around the unnerving chaos that is taking place on screen rather than in the midst of its more serious scenes. The sound and score. Further aiding this tone is the score. It's unnerving and made to almost represent triumph, despite it being mixed with scenes of immense discomfort. Knowing the context of the ending, I would be interested in rewatching this film to see if I feel the same way regarding special effects. editing, and pacing. Most of this film is grounded and takes place within the grimy and dirty aesthetic of Teddy's home. While the special effects throughout the film aren't exactly world-breaking, it ultimately serves to the general aesthetic of the film. Additionally, the pacing in this movie never fell flat or uninteresting. There was always something to keep your attention throughout, and thus, the pacing was done quite well. Themes. This movie explores the themes of echo chambers, that is, the dangers of believing only what reinforces your worldview, isolation, the human needs to be seen and understood, and what happens when that need is ignored. And it also touches upon truth versus conspiracy, and whether or not conspiracy theories are true, they often come out of some kind of truth. Conclusion. In the end, I had a good time with Bugonia. It was weird, but in a good way. The performances, story, and tone, and score were done quite well throughout its entirety, maintaining my attention and entertaining me every step along the way. I would recommend you give it a watch, and as reviews are concerned, for me, this is an easy 9 out of 10. If you've seen Bugonia, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and as always, please like and subscribe to keep this content coming, and until next time, this has been Film Sense with Brian. See you on the next movie review.